December 2025 was meant to kick off India's winter travel season, but instead, airports across the country plunged into chaos. At Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru, crowds of stranded passengers grew by the hour as digital boards flashed endless cancellations. IndiGo, usually a symbol of affordable travel, became the face of disruption. Customer service lines stretched for hundreds of meters, with people camped on their luggage, desperate for answers. The crisis began with a few cancellations on December 2nd, but by the next day, it was a nationwide meltdown. Passengers were pulled off flights after check-in or received last-minute texts canceling their journeys with no alternatives in sight. Airport infrastructure buckled under the pressure, terminals turning into makeshift dormitories filled with anxious calls and sleepless families. With IndiGo controlling over 60% of the domestic market, its collapse triggered a domino effect. Other airlines were overwhelmed, fares soared, and the entire network teetered on the edge. Ground staff, left in the dark, faced angry crowds with little information to offer. The lack of clear communication from IndiGo's leadership only deepened the confusion. This was no passing glitch. It was a systemic failure that left a nation stranded and its airports in turmoil. The chaos wasn't random. It was the result of IndiGo's failure to adapt to new pilot rest rules, announced 2 years earlier and fully enforced from November 2025. The updated flight duty time limitations, meant to combat pilot fatigue, required longer rest periods and stricter limits on night flying. These changes demanded a complete overhaul of crew scheduling, but IndiGo's lean, efficiency-driven model left no room for error. Unlike rivals who hired more pilots and adjusted schedules, IndiGo kept pushing its aggressive timetable until the system snapped. When the new rules hit, there simply weren't enough pilots to keep nearly 2,200 daily flights running. The result, a preventable meltdown, triggered by poor planning and a refusal to build in operational buffers. Other airlines weathered the transition. IndiGo's gamble on efficiency backfired spectacularly. The crisis was a textbook case of ignoring known risks in pursuit of relentless growth. The numbers reveal the scale of IndiGo's collapse: nearly 5,000 flights canceled in just 8 days. On the worst weekend, over 1,350 flights were grounded, and even as the airline claimed recovery, hundreds more were still being axed daily. On-time performance nosedived from 84% to just 35%, and IndiGo's share price plunged 17% in a week. Major hubs like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru saw hundreds of cancellations, with ripple effects cutting off smaller cities entirely. The network, responsible for 2,200 daily flights, simply seized up. Other airlines couldn't absorb the shock. The crisis exposed the fragility of a system dominated by one carrier. This wasn't a minor hiccup. It was a full-scale meltdown that brought Indian aviation to a standstill. The risks of over-reliance on a single airline had never been clearer. Behind the statistics were thousands of personal disasters. Families, students, and professionals stranded for days. Passengers waited in endless lines, often after checking in, only to be told their flights were canceled and their bags unreachable. Communication broke down, customer service lines jammed, apps crashed, and ground staff had no answers. Many spent nights on airport floors, especially vulnerable groups like families with children and the elderly. The baggage crisis became a symbol of the chaos. Mountains of unclaimed luggage piled up, with over 8,500 bags stranded at one point. Even as operations stabilized, hundreds of bags remained missing, compounding the misery. Passengers paid exorbitant prices for alternative travel, or lost money on non-refundable bookings. IndiGo processed refunds and waived rescheduling fees, but the damage was done. Each cancellation was a personal story of disruption, stress, and lost opportunities. As the crisis deepened, the government and regulators stepped in. Civil Aviation Minister Ramohan Naidu blamed IndiGo's leadership and launched a formal inquiry. The DGCA ordered IndiGo to cut flights by 10%, grounding over 100 flights daily to stabilize operations. To prevent price gouging, the government capped airfares on key routes and arranged special trains for stranded passengers. Regulators controversially granted IndiGo a temporary exemption from the new pilot rest rules, giving it time to hire and train more crew. Pilots' unions warned this could compromise safety, but the government had to balance stability with accountability. The intervention was a delicate act, punishing mismanagement, protecting passengers, and preventing a total collapse. The crisis forced authorities to confront the risks of a system built on a single dominant airline. Under mounting pressure, IndiGo's CEO publicly apologized, admitting to planning failures and promising swift recovery. The airline waived all rescheduling and cancellation fees, mobilized extra staff, and expedited refunds. Special teams worked to reunite passengers with thousands of stranded bags. IndiGo restructured its schedule, complying with the 10% capacity cut and new rest rules, while using the temporary exemption to restore flights. By December 9th, operations began to stabilize, with on-time performance rebounding to 91%. But the brand's reputation for reliability was badly damaged. The CEO's apology and operational fixes were just the start. Restoring trust would require deeper changes. IndiGo now faced the challenge of proving it could plan better and put passengers first. IndiGo's meltdown was a wake-up call about the dangers of market concentration. With over 60% market share, its failure crippled the entire network. No other airline could fill the gap. The duopoly with Air India leaves passengers with few alternatives and the system with a single point of failure. The crisis exposed the limits of the ultra-lean, low-cost model. Great for fares, disastrous for resilience. Regulators pledged to encourage new entrants and rethink oversight of dominant carriers. The lesson: efficiency must be balanced with buffers and competition. India's aviation future depends on a more robust, diversified market. No nation can afford to have its connectivity held hostage by one airline's missteps. The crisis highlighted the importance of knowing your rights as a passenger. Under DGCA rules, if your flight is canceled for reasons within the airline's control, you're entitled to a full refund or an alternative flight at no extra cost. If you're stranded at the airport, you may also claim compensation and must be provided meals, refreshments, and, if delayed overnight, hotel accommodation. Keep all communications and receipts. These are vital for claiming compensation or filing complaints. Many passengers during the meltdown were unaware of these rights and paid out of pocket for food and lodging. Being informed empowers you to demand the support you deserve. File complaints with the airline or the DGCA's AirSUA portal if necessary. Knowledge is your best defense against travel chaos. December 2025 marked a turning point for Indian aviation. The crisis proved that efficiency without resilience is a recipe for disaster. Airlines must invest in planning, staffing, and communication to withstand foreseeable shocks. Regulators need to audit preparedness, not just set rules. The government's push for more competition is a step toward a safer, more stable market. Clear, timely communication is essential. Passengers deserve real-time updates and honest apologies. For IndiGo, rebuilding trust means more than restoring flights. It means proving it can keep India flying safely. If the lessons of this crisis are heeded, Indian aviation can emerge stronger, more reliable, and ready for the future.